Hey everybody, Wisdom here. It is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2014. It's a day after the Earth Element Earth Day extravaganza of upgrading that went down. Gonna continue work on that tonight. However, not doing that right now for the simple fact it was a special day. Of course, some very minute portion of Skylander fans across the country were able to pick up Doomstone at Toys R Us in Times Square. The vast majority of us do not live anywhere near New York. Can't, jump up in the middle of a work week or school week and go to New York. So, as always, I'm sure probably, 40 to 50% of the people there are probably going to hawk them on eBay. Do not pay what they want. Here shortly, you will be able to pick him up for retail prices all across the country. Toys R Us probably going to get him first. That would just be speculation there. But just be patient there. Save your money. Don't buy from people that go there specifically to make money off of impatient people. You're screwing yourself over, and that's not a good thing to do. I can tell you, this Saturday, April 26th, Toys R Us is going to have Lightcore Bumble Blast. They're advertising it to complete your collections, and I was like, sweet, because that was the title in the email, and I was like, I'm going to head out that way, get Lightcore Bumble Blast and Doomstone. Sadly, the email does not detail Doomstone. It just solely mentions Lightcore Bumble Blast. I guess that means that only the 500 people or whatever in Times Square can complete their collection, yada yada. At least with the core characters, they're discounting some of the upcoming in-game variants. But nonetheless, I don't know. I suppose if Doomstone was going to be there the 26th, they would have pictured him. Maybe if there was an error and he's going to be there, they'll let us know. That would be really cool, though. That said, again, even if it's going to be a month from now, don't buy Doomstone from people online for more than retail. I can't stress it enough. That said, the biggest news outside of all that is, of course, the announcement of what people collectively called Skylanders 4 for quite some time. Generally, by about the time we get to Christmas, people have kind of wrapped up the game. They're working on the extras, the quests, things of that nature, and it's like, I can't wait for the next game. Well, of course, we know we've got 1, 2, and 3, Spyro's Adventure Giants and Swap Force respectively, so people just dubbed it Skylanders 4, even though you can only see 3 of my fingers on that, I think. That's what the HD stuff does. Anyway, Skylanders 4 now has a name. It is Skylanders Trap Team. The biggest thing for me, the release date was already revealed. They didn't dangle it over our heads third quarter or something. Don't hold me to this. I've been kind of trying to process things since I got in. I believe October 2nd, for those of you Australia, New Zealand. I have a lot of you that, watch the channel, read the blog, for the simple fact, the time of day, I guess y'all are getting off work or getting home from school. That's when I'm uploading videos. It's 2 to 5 a.m. here in Texas, and I guess it coordinates well with the flip side of the world. Must be a normal time there. But I always hear from you, I was like, we never get anything, and it's still not in my country yet. Apparently you're going to get the game first. Again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong on everything in this video. I've done my best to confirm it all. October 5th in the US, October 10th in Europe. The big thing about October 5th, if you recall, I think originally seemed like SSA launched the 3rd week of October. I believe Giants and Swap Force were both the 2nd Saturday. This is October 5th. That is awesome because I have something that goes down every 2nd weekend in October, and it consumes my life, basically that entire week all around it. I'm actually going to a calendar now. I think that may be a Friday. Bear with me here. Here we go. Why do I have to thumb through the whole thing? Alright, October 2014. What? That's a Sunday. Okay. Well, Sunday, October 2014. That probably means my local Walmarts are going to butcher it and not have it out. I'm kind of a fan of the Friday releases personally. That way you can kind of come in, you get the game after work or after school, and you got the whole weekend to play with it. It's kind of like a bummer when stuff releases, on a Sunday or a Tuesday. I never understood why Tuesday was such a big day. In my opinion, I'd rather ship the inventory and then have it release on a Friday, where it would be the big buzz, and then Monday everyone talks about it anyway. Nonetheless, Sunday, October 5th here in the US, that's good for me because, again, I'll be hellaciously busy, but I will at least be able to allot myself some time to kind of take in the game ahead of time. So that will be very nice. Essentially what we have here this time, the premise behind everything, Chaos. That's why he's here on the pool table. He is back, as you might have expected. The people that went, I'm trying to like compile information from, I hate doing it because there's always inaccuracies when it's not direct, you know, or at least the risk of them. When we left Swap Force, him and Glumshanks, you know, swapped, and Chaos had Glumshank's lower body, you know, the long legs, and he was loving it. I was kind of hoping that somehow a transition, I didn't figure it would, but still a small chance it could. But when I saw Chaos and like all the screenshots and everything I've seen, he was like intact as we've always come to know him. Maybe he was taller, I don't know, but I guess that one might just wind up left by the wayside. Nonetheless, as you might have guessed, Chaos is back. He's trying to take over Skylands. I know you have your shocked face on, but this time what he opted to do, he is actually coming in. My apologies, you'll hear my phone, the iPad, the computer buzz. Got all kinds of messages coming in and stuff. But essentially what he's doing, say that all these Skylanders and Pokemon figures and everything were like the most notorious villains in all of Skylands, alright? We're going to come in here, I'm going to build walls around the pool table, we're going to fence them all in, they're all contained, they can't wreak their havoc and evil across all the, you know, noble and good citizens of Skylands. In order to keep them in, we can't just throw up cobblestone walls or wood or anything, it's got to be in special material, and what more special of a material for a prison than Traptanium. A combination of words there, of course, from trap and titanium. Titanium, one of the strongest metal alloys, so Traptanium. The whole prison's made out of it. Somehow this man right here, Chaos, figured out how to blow it up. And so he blew it up. Unfortunately, his plan, of course, was to blow up the prison, recruit the villains to work for him, help him take over Skylands, achieve whatever objective he had in mind. And subsequently, as things usually go, did not quite go according to his fiendish plan. The villains got released, which was awesome. That's great. You know, might help him out a little bit. He'll be able to work with whatever they're doing. However, they're literally just loose in the world. So the Traptanium, then, the shards rain down upon Earth. I'll have another video here where I talk with screenshots, but pretend this peppermint, it's the closest thing I had, in all honesty. You'll see these crystal shards. They're basically crystal shards of Traptanium. And it's going to be a brand new portal structure. Take the portal that we all know and love. This is a bad example. It's the 3DS one, which some of you haven't seen at all. But kind of add like an auxiliary area right here, just like another semicircle. And it looks like what's going to happen is these crystal shards of Traptanium will plug into the portal. You're thinking, wait, what? You know, everyone was talking about weapons. You know, that sounded great to me. I'd heard all that chatter too. I was not a fan of the weapon idea. You know, at the time, you don't know who started what, and if it's true or legit or made up or what. Basically, the way this is going to work. Ghost Roaster here. Hopefully he comes back. More on that in a second. I can't use my... Well, Chase McCain's hidden, and now it's interfering with the video. Alright, so Lucario here. Alright, we'll pretend that he is a villain in Skylanders. So Ghost Roaster comes in here and defeats him, and then what you can do, if you have one of the crystal shards, there will be 2 in the starter pack, you plug it into the portal of power, and then a little twister vortex of magic comes in. Actually, you see him struggle, you know, not want to go in the vortex, and then he just gets sucked in. Then what they do that's pretty clever, it's kind of hard to explain all this, but essentially you hear the sound go from your TV speakers back there where Dunebug is, literally up here to the crystal, and you'll hear Lucario, "Help, get me out, I don't want to be here." You know, whatever comical lines. It sounds like those are going to be pretty funny. And he is actually in the crystal, and ultimately he'll wind up saying something along the lines of, "Please let me go back, I promise I'll be good." And what that means is he is now going to fight with you and be a good guy. So what you can do is actually then have him go back into the game, and you can actually play as the trapped villain Lucario, and he's going to be a good guy. So all the attacks that you saw him use against you, you can now use to fight you know, garden variety enemies, trolls, chompies, greebles if they come back. Other, you know, villains, things of that nature. Now, while Ghost Roaster can come in and trap him, there are brand new Skylanders called the Trap Team. We've got 2 of those, actually several that we've seen. Snapshot's going to be the one just like Washbuck, but it's kind of like your early feature character. He hails from the water element. What these guys have is special crystal weapons, every one of them. And essentially what they get is just Ghost Roaster might have to really struggle to beat this guy, but the members of the Trap Team have like a higher success rate. You know, they've got their attributes skewed where they get a bonus when they battle the most wanted villains like Lucario here. Now, some of the most wanted villains, I saw one called Chill Bill. He was a little troll, but he was equipped with like an ice blaster. He looked pretty cool. There was one called the Dreadnought. This is actually like, it reminds me of SSA in the forest levels with Arbo. It's like 2 trolls in this tank with a giant chainsaw. Apparently you can defeat that. That's a playable character then. 2 of the biggest ones right now, they may not wind up being the most powerful or well, probably. They'll be insanely popular. But the Sheep Mage, or the Chompy Mage, I mean. There's a screenshot I have. I'll have it in another video for you. You're going up like Chompy Mountain. You're going to have to like wind up and battle these characters probably in special locations. You defeat him, and then you can play as the Chompy Mage. I've got his attacks written down. I saw an interview with someone. You've got like, you can spawn Chompies. You've got the Chompy Staff. You can turn into the Giant Chompy. It's just like the stuff we saw in Giants, and it's freaking awesome. The other one that is confirmed, and this one was in, you know, straight the official press release, it's Chaos. So eventually, when you defeat Chaos, you can capture him and play as him in the game. That's something I've always wanted to do. That looked like there is actually a special crystal shaped like Chaos. It looked to be black. Might have been purple. It's kind of hard to tell. But I don't know if you have to have that one to get him or what. But this is like something I've dreamed of and said we should be able to do. But I would still love to have like an actual figure of Chaos, you know, or an actual figure of Flynn, things of that nature. That's why this one has been a staple on the pool table. It's a McDonald's Happy Meal toy, but it's literally all I have of Chaos here. So that is very awesome. Now, speaking of the Traptanium and the Trap Team Skylanders, we will say that Ghost Roaster here is a Trap Team Skylander. He's obviously not. Just work with me. I don't have Snapshot to kind of give you the visual. That's why Lucario is used. It's really complicated here. But he's walking around in the level. We'll say we're Shroom Boom, which it looks like Shroom Boom is back for the Series 2 pose, by the way. We come up here just like in Giants. There were areas only Giants could access. In Swap Force, there were areas that only the swappers could, you know, have access to. Now there's going to be areas that only the Trap Team Skylanders have access to. So if this was Snapshot, you know, he's walking around, he can actually come in, and I'm assuming that's where a lot of the most wanted villains will be, is like special access areas. The other thing of note, the crystals made of Traptanium that will house your villains, they are element specific. So like the Chompy Mage, I'm not saying this is for sure, but I would assume he might be like life element. I'm just thinking because he's green, in all honesty. But like Chill Bill, that troll guy, he would probably be water, you know, so you would need like a little water crystal. Had I have been there, I would have asked like a ton. As you know, well, most people like go for the gameplay and whatever they can get their hands on or showcase in the video. I'm the idiot that goes for like the factual detail information, and in this case it would be really helpful. I've seen mixed reports. Some people are saying you have to have all the crystals. What I'm seeing that I'm wanting to believe is that the crystals will contain multiple enemies each. You know, you can like use it multiple times, but then there's apparently like in the overworld, like Woodboro and Swap Force, there's going to be like a prison. So if you come in and you've got, you know, a life element guy trapped after the level, you can put him in the prison, and then in the next chapter, if there's like another life element villain, you can use that crystal to catch him and then put him back in the prison. I'm thinking that you wouldn't be able to switch between the villains immediately. It would just be whoever's in the crystal. Obviously, if you empty the crystal into the prison, you wouldn't have anyone to switch to. But I'm thinking it'll be that route. Obviously, if you wanted all of them at your disposal, you would need that many crystals. But I'm thinking that they'll either hold multiple enemies each crystal. You can kind of be like, okay, this is my water tiki guy. I've got, you know, so and this person on that one. And then this is my water whatever, and I've got these two villains there, you know, whatever it may be. But again, that prison should be a nice little change of pace. So it's going to be one of those deals. It might be more convenient if you had one crystal per villain, but I don't think that'll be required. It sounded like there's a prison in the overworld. And again, I hate telling you all this because it's not me getting to ask direct sources. If I was there, I would have gone after some ends not pursued by others, you might say. But there's a good chance also that some of this might not be able to be released or discussed in full detail just yet. So we should learn more. I'll update things as we go. Bear in mind, I'm making this video as soon as I got home from work, and this is day one, so obviously we don't know anything. There will be a lot of mistakes across the board everywhere. What you can do, though, is say that I was Ghost Roaster and I had the Chompy Mage captured in the appropriate crystal. I could be going along playing as Ghost Roaster. Maybe his health gets low. Maybe I switch into a different elemental zone where I can get a bonus or something. I can actually, at the push of a button, I don't have to, you know, pull characters, anything like that. I've got them both already on the portal. We'll say for the past 10 minutes, I can switch instantaneously with one button. It's almost like a tag team type thing, so that's very cool. Coming out past there, we've got the Trap Team guys that are new. From what I've seen, they're going to be a little bit taller than the Swap Force characters, which I've got Washbuckler back here. So picture someone just slightly taller than Washbuckler. That's at least ballpark, you know, from what I understand. Then of course there will be brand new characters, you know, our new landers, if you will. Haven't heard anything about Light Core. I wouldn't mind at all if those go away, or if they come back, please give them a WoW Pal. They cost more, they're special, they should be treated as such in my opinion. So that would be nice there. The new landers, there will be reposes of fan favorites, so maybe we'll see Sunburn and Fright Rider. Maybe we'll see any of these castaways here in New Landers. Voodoo, you're probably going to see like a Series 4 Spyro, Trigger Happy. I don't know how they're going to divide it up yet. Personally, I would like to see like some of these guys. We haven't seen Voodoo and Ghost Roaster and Sunburn and Boomer. They've never come back from the first game. I'd love to see those guys return, more so than maybe have like a fourth, you know, like Gilgrunt or something, you know. So as far as like special characters, legendaries, things of that nature, nothing on it yet. I assume that will happen. There'll probably be your chase variants, probably the special in-game variants, kind of like we see, you know, in Swap Force. You got the holiday releases, kickoff countdown. There will probably be some ones like that. Probably going to follow typical form there. From what I am hearing, I think I've read 50 in an official release, over 50 I believe, and then I've heard 60 from something else. Either way, that's new Skylanders, whether that be brand new core, Trap Team, or if it comes in, you know, and it's like a Series 2 Shroom Boom, Series 2 Ghost Roaster, Series 4 Spyro, 60. Over 40 villains. Again, if you had 8 crystals, you know, you'd have like 5 each. That would make sense. Then there might be some, you know, like Chaos might require something special. Just a lot of unknowns on that right now. Only thing I really know is I have the base concept of how it works, and I can tell it's going to be really cool. Something I've read and seen in, you know, the trailers, it looked to me like this game was going to be more action-based. That's why SSA remains my favorite game. I didn't have to like go through and, you know, every 2 minutes come across, you know, like a little mini game or a swap zone. I think those are cool. I enjoy them. But at the same time, if I could pick to go through a level where I just basically battle enemies the entire way, maybe have to do a lock puzzle or two to get through, I would prefer that over coming in, you know, walking this far and, oh, you know, side area, and come this way and side. My batteries died on me. But basically what I was getting after, I enjoy, you know, the more action paced as opposed to, you know, like battle a few enemies and have to go off on a side quest and take out 3 chompies and it's another side quest. I'd rather just go through and just be, oh gee, more enemies and just repeat. That's what I get my joy in. Some of the gameplay I saw, you know, and again, this is like early stuff, didn't have damage numbers with it. As you know, right now I'm going through meticulously documenting damage numbers for these swap force upgrades. Don't know if that's going to be a staple or if that's just like early on gameplay type thing that hadn't put it in. Who knows? The XP was coming out when you kill the enemies, but there was no like damage numbers, so that'll be interesting. Trying to think what else to cover here. Kind of threw me off having my train of thought interrupted by the batteries. October 5th in the US, as I mentioned earlier. What's interesting, Toys for Bob again there, who came up with this concept. They did SSA. They're developing the game for the Wii, the Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 3. Their logic there is probably, you know, that's what more of the younger audience probably has. You know, they're not going to be the first ones to rush out and get an Xbone or a PS4 or even the Wii U. And I say that because it doesn't seem like a big deal, but then Beanox will be handling the ports to the next-gen consoles, if you will, Wii U, Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Generally, when you see that, it's almost always backwards, like, you know, the main developer usually does like the high-end version and then the port goes like down. In this case, it's kind of like, you know, we're developing down here and then we're going to port up. So it's a question, you know, will it hold it back graphically? You know, will there be things available? You know, like if you look at the strategy guide, you come in there and you'll see, you know, like the hidden items in Iron Jaw Gulch are here, and then there'll be like that little asterisk, and it's like, but if you have the Wii, it won't be. It makes me wonder if like you'll see that same thing, and it'll be, you know, kind of like knocking the you know, higher end consoles, if you will, or if it'll actually be better, if they'll add in even more features. That kind of remains unknown. I'm curious about that. Nintendo 3DS, that's back. It's going to be an all new separate adventure, just like they've done in the past. No word yet on its starter pack. My hope is that they maintain, I know some of you hate this, but my hope is they've done what they always do. They give us a special character, whatever that may be, and then they package it hopefully with characters not available in the console starter pack. So that way, if you're buying for both consoles, you know, 3DS and home console type situation, you don't double up immediately. You get something cool and unique, and then you save money having to buy the separate figures. Other big question I would have personally is, how do you obtain the crystals? Obviously, there's going to be 2 in the starter pack, but past that, are they like going to be sold in retail? Just like a little small package, you know, for $5? Is it going to be, you know, here's your triple pack of characters with 2 crystals? Will it be, here's a double pack with 2 crystals? Will it be, buy Series 2 Shroom Boom and get a life crystal? I don't know how they're going to handle that, and that's kind of a big deal because the crystals are something essential to this game element, if you will. Again, all that, the price points, I don't know those. If I had to guess, I'd go out on a limb and I'd say like the $75 entry price, you know, $74.99, if you will. That sounds good to me. Could be wrong. It could be cheaper. It could cost more. Don't know how complex the portal is. Something cool, the portal will actually have that separate microphone, as I mentioned earlier, so you'll have the not a microphone, but a speaker. That's how it'll like transfer the sound and kind of give that impression that Chaos left the TV and has now come down here. Tons of stuff. Like I said, I'm actually going to come in and do a voiceover video where I just show you the screenshots I have access to, and we'll just kind of cover it that way. There's no B-roll or video or anything just yet for me, but I do have the pictures. Some of those are pretty awesome, so we'll kind of cover those there. But it looks to me almost like you'd be going through your level. We'll just pretend it's Chaos, like you've completed it and you're playing back through and you have his crystal or whatever you needed to catch him. And he comes in, you know, whatever chapter, takes something out, and then there would be like a path that only like the, you know, Trap Team guys are going to have access to. You come in, you unlock that, you come up, you know, the mountain to the Chompy Mage, you battle him. Just really cool. I'm kind of thinking it's going to be like more geared towards battle and the fights, maybe more so than the previous 2 entries or something, but lots of stuff we don't know. I'm trying to just relay what we do know. Again, I would love, to be able to like ask some questions. Again, I kind of go a different route than most people. But right now, my biggest issue is just I wonder how the crystals are going to be packaged or obtained, something along those lines. I can't really picture them like putting a crystal with each figure. And then the double pack, I don't know, maybe the crystals would only be sold with the Trap Team guys or something. That might make sense. I could see it going down that way. The other thing, I don't think I've mentioned this, and I know it'll probably be like the biggest question, so I'm not sure why I haven't, but everyone is playable in this game. So basically what I mean by that is if we don't see Ghost Roaster and Voodoo reposed, you can still take your Series 1 Ghost Roaster, play him in this game. If you're a huge fan of Tree Rex or Crusher, they're still available in this game. Base color, we had green and SSA, orange and Giants, blue and Swap Force. It's going to be red this time around. That was something I was curious about. I actually saw it in the pictures, but to his credit, Rob at CoinOp, I actually heard him ask that, so very proud of Rob there. That's the type of stuff I would ask about. So one of those things not a lot of people really care about, or you don't really think to ask. So nonetheless, the hardcore people, the little things like that matter. So in terms of seeing Swap Force or Giant characters reposed, no mention anywhere on that. That's another thing I would have asked. I'm feeling like it probably would have been a no. I'm thinking maybe the next time around, or something, they might do that, but small chance they could be. The good news is if you love Freeze Blade and Trap Shadow and Firecracken, they'll all be playable. Same thing if you're a huge Ninjini or Bouncer fan, you can just pull out your old stock. So just like in the past, I could come in here, I could take a brand new starter pack. Wow, I got hung up on the tripod there, but like Snapshot, I could fully upgrade him, whatever that may be. Don't really know how that's going to be set up. That's something else I would have inquired about, but I can take him, I could run to my nephew's house, throw him on a brand new starter pack that we just unboxed, and my Snapshot's there, fully upgraded, ready to go. If I had a crystal with Chaos, I could take it to a buddy's house, plug it in, we could play as Chaos and the Chompy Mage. I don't really know how that would work with 2 players. I know they mentioned co-op play, but I don't know. I mean, if we had 2 villains of like the life elements, I don't know if you could, like, you and a friend could both switch from like Shroom Boom and Camo to both being villains. That would be pretty awesome if you could. But there's also play elements they want you to do as a single player, where you'd use like Chill Bill and you would freeze enemies, and then you would come back in as Jet Vac and just like crush the ice. And of course, if you factor in the fact that there's 40 plus villains, that's a lot of options there. The good news is the villains, they don't actually have to go out and buy a separate character. That said, some of the ones that I've seen so far, I would have loved to have a real character on. That's just me. The good news is the crystals probably be the more economical way to do it. But essentially, used to you to put the toy on the portal and bring it to life in the game. Now what they're trying to convey is you can bring the toys out of the characters out of the game as toys in the real world. So works well with the portal and the sounds, separate from the game speakers, everything like that. So I'm about out of time here on my SD card. I feel like I've kind of covered everything as best I can at this point. Again, my next video is going to be me voicing over. Sometimes those are really awkward because I have to talk faster than I usually do. But I'll have every screenshot I have right now, I'll throw in that video for you. You can check it out. Some pretty cool stuff in there. And then, of course, the blog post, if you don't like watching 20-minute videos where I ramble, which most of you do, for some reason. But the blog post is there. It's a text format. I organize it as best I can. Some of the villains I saw were really cool. Wolfgang is going to be really neat in my opinion. But that's in the official trailer. I'll have it up in a post as well. OneOfWeasem.com is where you need to go. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+. As always, thanks for watching. Tons more on Skylanders Trap Team as it becomes available. Hopefully you're excited. I know I am. And with that said, I will sign off here, get started on the next video while this one renders, and we will catch you back here next time.